So off the top of my head, I'll apologize for the noise because it's definitely not great quality audio. A lot of that's because I'm on my drive in here. Motivation and ideas don't really come at the most opportune time. This is one of those where I'm kind of driving in a little bit, and I am, something pops into my head, and then I kind of flesh it out a little bit, and if it's worth discussing with y'all, I'll bring it over. So I was thinking about adulthood. So that's a concept that's kind of been on my mind a lot because, legally you're an adult, depending on your country, of course, but legally you're an adult at 18? Maybe you can drink at 21 here in the States. Different countries have different definitions for adulthood, right? And although that's definitely necessary for a society to have an age where they can differentiate when you can make adult decisions and when you can't, and how you're tried, whether you're tried as a minor or as an adult. I mean, those things are definitely necessary on many aspects. One concept that I think that blew my mind as a young individual was, you see your parents when you're young, and you see them and you're like, oh man, they know everything, they know how to do everything. You looked up to them, right? You look up to them. You definitely see their life experiences, and you definitely see what they have learned, and especially compared to your infantile mind at the time, right? But one thing that definitely became very apparent to me as I became older was that they were just normal people. They were normal people who acquired a certain amount of knowledge and ability because of their experiences. They learned from either their misfortunes or from their experiences as a whole. And something that kind of blew my mind was that sometimes you'll see adults who are childish and are idiots in many respects and ignorant in many respects, and some people just never really grow up and never really turn into the adults that you sometimes admire. And that's when it kind of blew my mind a bit, the idea that these adults are just people that got older. So are they necessarily adults, or are they just people who got older? And that's an interesting concept, because that's a hard one, because there are a lot of people in this world that did end up getting older, but didn't mature, didn't really grow, didn't really learn much. And then you start to think about the whole adult, and what does that mean? What does it mean to be an adult? What does it mean to have the title of adult? I mean, there's no ritual, there's no test, there's no assessment to tell you, yeah, you've learned enough, you've become knowledgeable or managed to mature enough. There's no ripening process with adulthood. And that's something that kind of blew my mind as a young adult, or as a young man or whatever, thinking of how it is really possible for you to be a complete moron and an idiot and not learn anything about life and still continue to grow older, and you're now considered an adult, making shitty, bad decisions that a 6-year-old would make as an adult. And that's a fascinating part. There are some definite things, right, that I would define as adult by, but there's also the intangible, the ideas of maturity and decision making that you can't test, you can't really assess for, but you assume that your coworker that's sitting across from you at a table or works with you across the room has reached those levels, and you're entrusting that they have the abilities to do what they're supposed to do, but that's not always the case. So I guess I have no solution for this. I have no real thought process. I guess it's a twofold thing. One, definitely understand that the people across from you, despite how adult they might look, might still be quite inexperienced in life and quite flawed. And maybe that's a way to forgive some sort of altercations between the two of you, because you can't really focus on learning life experiences, right? They're either going to happen to you or they're not. You're either going to eventually put the ego away and try to do different things to become what one would define as an adult. One thing you can manage is the simple things you can learn that would help you in being an adult. I mean, there's certain skills that you should have as an adult that you can 100% manage, whether it's something as simple as learning how to pay bills or changing a tire. I mean, managing how you take on food and managing your food intake. I mean, these are all normal skills that maybe won't define you as an adult, won't make you an adult. Don't. If you sit here and say I can change a tire, I mean, nobody's gonna say, "Wow, that guy's an adult." But these are skills that kind of propel you towards a more competent adult, a more able adult. These are things that, if you looked at an adult, people will look to you to say, wow, this guy can do it, and he should be able to do it. He's an adult. If you're an adult and you can't do some of these skills, then you're definitely going to be questioned on your adulthood. But that's just kind of food for thought. These are kind of things that just popped in my head as I'm kind of driving in, and hopefully this has been some sort of, food for thought, something to kind of make you think a little bit about your current paradigm, your current world, and the interactions you have with it. And, maybe something to think about on the drive-in. See you guys next time.